Hello there, everyone. Hope you're all having a good day. Name's Tony, the ambitious autist, and today I'm going to be covering the fourth and final, for now at least, part of this series of lifetime experiences for a high-functioning autistic person. We covered the childhood, elementary, middle school, preteen, and the teenager, high school portions of life, as I would like to call it. That leaves now, which for me anyway, is my young adult college university life, which I will be covering in this video. As always, before I start, know that all of my experiences are not the same as everyone or anyone with high-functioning autism. However, my experiences can be considered as a reference point if anything else of what I can tell you, relates to you. I think if you've been following me for some time now, I think you already have the age ranges of how people would be, but in case you don't know, young adults will be considered, for me at least, 18 to 22 years. Some would consider 18 to 25, 19 to 22, or 19 to 21. But 18 is the starting point, as that's when you end up going in university or college, or you finish high school, and 22 is the end point because that's when, most people end up graduating from college or university. With that out of the way, time to get it rolling to the first segment of this video, which is the young adult college/university time frame for high-functioning autist is what I like to call the slow crawl to mastery. We already covered the learning stages, the adapting and recognition phase, and the applying phase. Of what you would want to of what you would be going through. And all that is left to do from there is just to master the skills you have learned through the first 18 years of your life. Thing is though, most if not all people don't master all of their skills within their young adult years. That, of course, is okay. We still have a lot to learn and grow, but we know that as adults, we got the path to mastery, and it has a railroad that goes about 10 miles an hour. Which is to say that you're going quite slow. And to be frank, you might as well buckle in and keep learning. In my case, when I entered this stage of my life, my decisions from choices that I made during high school impacted me in a number of ways. One such decision was quite the standout, I would say, and that was to, by myself, through many days of applying, be mature enough to the point where I fully acknowledge that I have autism. To be honest, I've had issues, dear viewer, with fully accepting myself. The experiences of late elementary, middle school, and early freshman year of high school caused big issues with myself mentally. I've had thoughts of thinking that I wasn't mentally strong enough, physically not strong enough, or socially weak to have, friends or call myself good enough. Of course, those thoughts weren't there by accident. It was due to my choices. The same choices that, through some convincing by people in my life, I've gotten better throughout the years. I have a good relationship with my family. I've got great friends to rely on. I've worked hard to keep myself physically fit. I've gotten good at getting good marks on my courses in college. All those things started coming into fruition when I, fully accepted myself and started to, therefore, love myself. And the one piece I needed to accept was that I was autistic, and that there was nothing changing that. When I did that, I felt a bit happier about myself as a person. That there was no fear of telling people I am who I am. No fear of showing myself. If people are gonna hate me for it, then they're gonna have to suck it up. Because I ain't changing me without my own choices. And that's for the record, by the way. Perhaps I have rambled for long enough. And yes, I'd say I have. But the main point is to show that acceptance is a hard thing for any person to go ahead and do. But if you make the effort of doing so, I promise you, you will be much happier with yourself. I can guarantee you that. I don't speak for every high-functioning autistic young adult, but I'm here to at least give you my life story and take it as something to learn from. We can learn from any person in this world that we call home, and if I at least helped you by, stirring thoughts into your head, then I think I've done a good job. But enough about my own struggles. Let's get back to a topic that stagnates between these college university years. Yes, for the first time, we are back to social skills as a recurring topic in a high-functioning autist life. Now, as mentioned in the previous 3 videos, keeping and making friends and being in good graces with your family and professors, want to go ahead and add that, is still something you will keep improving on. No doubt about that. Of course, people will still be maturing, because not every young adult has their stuff together. And, quite frankly, who does? Although, unlike elementary to high school, college/university is a time where you'll either make those lifelong friends and acquaintances, or not. In my case, I wouldn't say I made friends in college/university, but I made a few acquaintances, and as of recording this video, I'm still going to college/university as a senior. So, hey, you never know. I might make more friends. Or maybe I'll just get acquaintances. I'm not too sure. The reason I bring this up, though, is that I haven't made friends in college/university, though that is because the structure of learning is much different than in elementary to high school. I'm not going to go into too much detail regarding the education side of what this whole college thing, that'll be saved for later on in the video. But for students, or rather young adults who have so much to tackle when it comes to schoolwork, love life, work, family, among other factors, that we don't have the time to even get to know each other beyond that surface level. As people, we don't really interact with each other beyond that, just in the classroom state. Maybe it's because I'm too focused on getting a good GPA, or I have tunnel vision regarding that, or maybe some other reason, but people aren't really focused on networking, rather just to focus on themselves. If I had a recommendation, I'd try to know at least a few students in the classes that you take. Then, take your call, take your judgment, and, take your degree courses on that and keep making friends on that. At least if you do that, you could become friends through the work that you do together and the small talk that you do between all the work that you're doing. Plus, you sometimes have group assignments which requires someone to do it. Why not someone helps you out with the assignment? I think that's a good way of making a friendship right there, you know? Of course, I will always say to be yourself. You know, don't try and change yourself, but still be respectful to everyone else around you, you know, basic respect. You don't have to like them as a person, but remember, basic respect, you know, gets you to a few places. Being nice, be friendly, you know, that type of deal. After all, this is the start of adulthood. And to be honest, adults can sometimes remember you. So, pro tip, don't try and make it worse with who you interact with. On the topic of college though, besides the social life, we got the hard part of college, which is, and I think you already know based on the 4 videos I already had. You know how I said high school was a major part of your life? Well, if you watched the last video. Well, scratch that. College/university, if you decide to go through with it, is even more important than high school, since this is where you are actually learning the skills for the potential job path you want to go ahead and take. For the past 3 videos, I said it and I'll say it again. Just like neurotypical people, high-functioning autists also have their struggles with learning in school, though it is more amplified due to how we operate. And in certain cases, people will be lacking in terms of reading comprehension, or others will be lacking in mathematics. Like myself and my own experiences. And the struggle really comes into play when you enter college. First off, you have to schedule yourself in what time you're going to be taking class and how you're going to go ahead and take that class, and when are you going to do the work for said class. That's already 3 variables right there. It isn't easy when you're coming right off the heels of high school, where there is a clear start and finish to the schedule and the classes you take. You know, it's very, very well structured, as the public education system is. Be prepared for this change and look into what you want to study with an advisor for the university you want to attend. Trust me, it helps when you have someone to be able to answer a bunch of questions that you have. If you have accommodations from high school and you want to set that up, make sure you do so with their social accessibility program. You want that set in with enough time so that way you can email your professors of the accommodations that you have for said classes. As for myself, I didn't have any accommodations, as mentioned in the last video. That meant that I was on my own for the entirety of college until I wanted to go ahead and sign up. I almost did during my sophomore year of college with my reintroduction of taking a math class. I was worried that I wasn't going to have, the skill set in order to pass that class when I first signed up for it. It was college algebra, by the way. But my parents said I could do it with the studying habits I picked up during freshman year. So I went ahead and went in with that in mind. Turns out I actually did well. Yes, I had to study for the class longer than every other class prior, and after which it did suck a lot. It did suck a lot going through all that, but I got a B out of it. So I'm happy from that experience. Really, the name of the game when it comes to taking college classes is if you're willing to adapt to changing your study habits and how you approach learning, you're gonna do fine. If you slack off, it will show. If you don't slack off, you'll reap the benefits and the rewards by graduating. Currently, as my major, I'm a mass communications major, studying broadcast. So my courses are sometimes easy, sometimes hard. Your experience might differ depending on what you study, but either way, as long as you keep what I say in mind, I think you'll do fine. Of course, when it takes to going ahead and entering college, you gotta keep a level head to not get overwhelmed. And that can only happen if you work on yourself. And in what regard do you work on yourself? Well, yup, that's right. We got the mental state you should push your child, or yourself if you're of age watching this, to have. If you watched the last 3 videos, you would probably already know that the best advice I can give you, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, is to keep an open mind. Learn even through failure, and keep yourselves or themselves happy and positive. And you know that even if we have to do more to get there, we can get to a place where we're proud of ourselves. All of that should still be applied through the young adult, college, university years. And if you haven't learned that yet, I think my silence should be a sufficient answer. So let's move on. These years of your life is one hell of a roller coaster, to say the least. If you're not strapped in, you're gonna go on a very rough ride. With that, it's gonna be very stressful at some points, especially during your senior and junior years of taking all the advanced classes or courses that you're taking for your major. There's also the factor that you could have a potential internship during that time. And of course, the final exams. Really, there's a lot to be stressed about as a college student. It's very chaotic, which is why you should learn to thrive in the chaos. I really want you to think about it. You're a college student who could be studying with some of the most annoying classmates, annoying professors, and taking some annoying courses. But as long as you got a level head and a calm mind, you can do it. This might sound like an interesting recommendation to stay calm during this time, but try exercising and meditating. I know that it's weird for someone like myself to recommend it, but seriously, you can do either thing anywhere, and contrary to popular belief, you don't need to sit down for 20 minutes to meditate. All you need really is about 5 minutes. Close your eyes, sit down, take a few deep breaths. That's it. That's really all meditation is. You can also go out and do some walking or exercise. Either works. I end up doing both because I like the benefits it gives me, both physically and mentally. So pick either one, but I like doing both, and more likely than not, I'm gonna recommend you all do both. It's all about being calm amidst all the factors being thrown at you in college. It's okay to be stressed, upset, angry, or sad even during this time. And believe me, I have raged so many times at a professor's incompetence through emails and advice that they gave me. But if you keep yourself calm, not only can you tackle college, you could deal with many of the things correctly by being calm later in your life. So why not learn it? That's what I recommend. And with that being said, that is all I have to say regarding the life of college, university, young adult as a person with high functioning autism with some helpful advice and experience. Thank you all so much for watching through this entire series if you have. And thank you for the first time viewers. Make sure to follow me for more content. I am so happy I was able to cover these 4 parts in detail. And I really think, it could serve some of you all well. And that's why I put it on in the first place. I do have some more content planned in the works, but I'm going to be releasing them in the upcoming weeks. If you want to tell me anything that you want to go in depth on, for me to go in depth on, or anything that you want to leave as a recommendation to a topic I should cover, leave a comment below. Hell, I'll even link my email in the description. Just comment me on that. This is Tony of the Ambitious Autist signing off. See you all in the next video. Take care.